Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited for today's video because we're going to be kicking off my 2023 ranking my entire makeup collection series. So we are starting with the primer category today, and I do promise you I will finish every single makeup category in my collection this year. I did not finish last year in 2022. Last year was just a weird year all around, but I will make it through my entire makeup collection this year. I am planning to do one category of my makeup collection every single week going forward until we have ranked my entire makeup collection. I will leave my ranking my makeup playlist down below in case you're interested in seeing how I would rank how I've ranked makeup in the past, or if you just like ranking makeup videos. There's tons of that in that playlist for you. I will also say I am pre-filming just a little bit so that I can keep up with the series. So I think this video will go up just a few days after the Sephora VIB sale has started. So if I pick up any primers during the Sephora VIB sale, they won't be ranked in today's video. I have 14 primers to rank for you today. One other note before we get into it, I have 4 glowy glow drop-esque sort of products that I count in my primer category in my makeup like inventory. So I have the Milani glow drops, I have the Versed mood lighting glow drops, I also have the e.l.f. halo glow, and I have the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood flawless filter. I will not be ranking those products in today's video just because while I count them in my primer category, I don't necessarily use them as like a priming, I don't use them like I would a primer per se. And it just didn't feel right to rank them in today's primer ranking video. So I have 14 primers to rank for you guys today. If you're interested in seeing what my least favorite primer is in my collection, as well as my favorite, and all the primers in between, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, ranking makeup, or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. All right, you guys, like I do in every ranking video, I'm going to start with my least favorite primer. We'll work my way up to my most favorite primer. As I look at some of my like top primers, I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, yep, some things truly never change. But let's start with my least favorite primer. This is new to my collection as of last year. This is the Refy Face Primer Glow and Sculpt. I was so excited about this product when this released. I don't know why. But I just thought that this was going to be the coolest product ever. It has this like roller applicator, which is kind of bizarre. But for some reason, I felt like this was going to give me like the most like snatched look to my face. And this is just like a very bizarre product. So you literally like roll it on your face, but I don't feel like it offers a glow. I don't feel like it sculpts my face. And I really don't feel, why is there a train? I really feel like it does a whole lot of nothing. And I think this was like $34. So in my opinion, this is like definitely not worth the money. It's not so bad that I won't use it up. Like it doesn't pill. Pilling is something that I like can't get, like I can't get my head wrapped around. Like I can't make a pilling primer work for me. Like I will declutter it. If it doesn't pill, I really struggle to declutter a primer, but definitely not a favorite of mine and not one I would recommend. Another super disappointing primer. I was so excited about this because you guys know I love Nabla Cosmetics so much. I get so excited about every single product that they release. So naturally, when I saw that they were releasing a glowy primer, I was so excited because I love primer, I love glowy primers, I love Nabla Cosmetics. I thought it really couldn't get much better than that, but boy was I wrong. So this is the Nabla Angel Aura Radiant Plumping Serum Primer. First of all, I don't feel like this has any sort of like plumping effect. It is very radiant, but in like a gold, oh my gosh, what is the deal? Okay, I don't feel like there's any sort of like plumping effect to this, as I was saying before I got distracted by the plane, or not plane, train. It has this like gold glittery sort of radiance to it, not one that's not like an ethereal like angel sort of radiance. Like it's like in your face like golden, which just is like not my vibe. I also feel like for a serum primer, it's very liquidy, but it's sticky, but not in like a not in like a tacky, sticky way, like not like, I don't love this primer either, but not like the e.l.f. primer, not like a gripping way. It's just like sticky and sort of like distracting on the skin. It's not something that I would want to wear on its own, but it's also like just feels uncomfortable almost underneath a foundation as well, or on its own. It's just not a favorite of mine. I don't have any sort of pilling problem with it though, so I will make it work. This is something that I'm wondering if I may have repurposed this and try and use it as like a body glow sort of situation for the summertime. That's sometimes how I will repurpose primers, like moisturizing primers I'll end up using as like a moisturizer rather than an actual primer. But that's kind of what my thoughts are around this so far. This was also very expensive. I want to say this was like $34. I don't recommend that one. I have 4 e.l.f. primers in my collection and they are all coming right in a row next. So coming in at number 12, I have my e.l.f. I have my e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. This, along with the other 3 e.l.f. primers I'm about to rank, are just sticky, almost like glue. It just does not feel nice on the skin. I hate the texture. I hate blending it out onto my skin, and I just think there are better gripping primers on the market that don't feel like Elmer's glue on my face, and that is why I'm ranking this one or these ones lower. The e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Primer used to have a bit of a cooling sensation to it, nothing that like lasted, which is fine. I don't really care, but I don't really notice any sort of cooling sensation now. When I put this on my face, this is something that's currently going in my project pan. I'm trying to finish this off because it's not something I would repurchase or replace. Just wasn't a product that I ended up loving. In that similar vein, coming in at number, I think we're at 11, I have the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Again, very, very sticky on the face, feels like glue. It does a nice job of gripping, but I also feel like it gets a little like skippy as I blend it out, and therefore sometimes I feel like when I like blend my foundation on top of this, my foundation also looks just like patchy and not flawlessly blended. I noticed that to be a bit of an issue with this. I know so many people love this, but for me, I'd rather spend, well, there's the Hard Candy, which I'll get into. There's the Hard Candy Hydrating Primer, which also has a grip to it, which I think is better, and it's also less expensive than the e.l.f. I also think the LYS Gripping Primer is also like truly like glue, but has more of a seamless blend, and that one is $18, so it's a little bit more expensive, but I think it's worth it. Would not repurchase this one again. Wouldn't really recommend. I don't enjoy that one. And then I have the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. Of the 3, this would be my favorite because this does add a bit of a dew and a bit of a glossiness to the skin. For me, I find this one to blend out the most seamlessly, although I still find it to be very sticky like glue and a bit skippy. This one on its own I think is really pretty because it adds this gloss to the face, which I think is pretty, but I think this is being discontinued or has been discontinued. I don't even know that you can get this anymore. Even if you could, it's not a favorite of mine and not something I would repurchase either. And then coming in at number 9, I have the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Putty Primer. Now I have gone through a full e.l.f. putty primer in the past, and I do like the e.l.f. putty primers. I do think they do a nice job of filling in the skin and like smoothing the skin out, smoothing my pores, filling my pores in. But I have other pore filling primers that I've tried and prefer more. I love the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. That is by far my favorite pore filling primer that I've tried. I know it's obviously more expensive than this, but for me, again, it's worth it. I will continue to use this. I don't feel like this necessarily is like actually acne fighting either. I just think like it was a way for them to make a cute green product and try and sell more of these. But not a favorite. Definitely wouldn't repurchase this one when I finish this either. I think e.l.f. did send this one to me, as well as the Power Grip. Coming in at number 8, I have this one from Milk Makeup. This is the Poreless Eclipse Mattifying Primer. My sister purchased this for herself to see if she liked this for her wedding day. And we both ended up liking this, and she ended up giving me this one because she was going to purchase the full size. So thank you, Hannah, so much for passing this along my way. I will say I remember liking this more like when I tried it with her than I do now. I do think it's very mattifying. I personally have dry skin, so mattifying isn't necessarily always what I'm looking for. It is very smoothing. I don't know why I'm swatching this. It is really smoothing. But I just prefer the Tarte Timeless. If I'm looking for a pore filling primer, this has a bit of like that, I don't know how to describe it, like airiness to it. You guys know, like, is there a primer out there that's like, it's white but has like blue like squares in it? I'm thinking almost of like a toothpaste. I don't know what I'm trying to describe right now, but I just don't love necessarily how my skin feels after blending this in, or like, yeah, blending it into my skin. It just feels almost a little bit drying, which it is a mattifying primer, so that's fine. And if you have oily skin, this might be a great primer for you. But for me and my dry skin, I just don't think that this is going to end up turning into something that I would repurchase. Again, if you have oily skin, I think you'd really like this. If you like a mattifying primer that is also smoothing, I think you'll really like this. It's just not one of my tippity top favorites. And then coming in at number 7, I have another pore filling primer. This is the Catrice Prime and Find Poreless Blur Primer. This is a really good pore filling primer, especially if you are looking for something that is at the drugstore or is a more affordable option. It does have a really long lasting, like, soft focus effect, as it says. It does a really nice job of pore filling. For the most part, I don't get pilling with this. There's like the occasional moment where I feel like this pills on me, but overall, I think this is a really, really great option for a drugstore pore filling primer. I just am not always going for pore filling. I don't like, pores are not the biggest issue when it comes to a primer for me. I really want something that's going to be gripping and hydrating, and I'm going to keep saying it, I love my Tarte Timeless if I'm truly wanting to smoothen my skin and fill my pores. So when I finish this, I won't repurchase, but I still do recommend this primer and think it's a really great drugstore option for a pore filling primer. Coming in at number 6, I have this one from RMS Beauty. They did send this one to me. This is the Re-Evolve Radiance Locking Primer. Now, I will say this is a very expensive primer. I think it's like $42, and I don't recommend it at the $42 price tag. This is a really beautiful hydrating primer. It offers a beautiful radiance to the skin, kind of like that glossy sort of skin effect that I think is really beautiful, especially if I'm going for like just primer and maybe a little bit of concealer underneath the eyes, but I'm not doing any sort of foundation. This I really love. It kind of reminds me of the Becca Spotlight primer from back in the day. Now, I do think this is really overpriced, but if you could get this on sale, I would recommend it. I also don't think that this is going to be for everyone. This to me is nothing like super special. I just enjoy it when I'm looking for a radiant primer, and looking through all the other primers, like, I would rather reach for this one over every other primer that I just ranked, even though I don't think it's worth the price tag. Coming in at number 5, my sister also passed this one along to me. This is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. This is the soft matte. This is a really, really nice option if you are looking for like a soft focus matte finish as well. I find this to be a little bit hydrating as well. This is really comfortable on the skin. I've been really happy with this so far. I haven't used this probably more than like 8 or 9 times, so I haven't used it like the most. It's not something that's been in my collection a really, really long time, but I've really enjoyed using it when I have used it, and it's something that I would potentially consider purchasing in a full size when I finish. Again, if I have other, yeah, I think I would, because this gives more of an all over soft focus if I'm looking for that, whereas like the Tarte Timeless is really like, I really focus that in my T-zone area and like my forehead wrinkle lines. It's not something I love all over the face, and if I'm wanting a soft focus matte finish for like underneath my primer or underneath my foundation, I think this would be a great option for that. So this might be something that I repurchase in the future. I definitely recommend this if you are looking for a soft matte primer, soft matte finish primer. This is, I've been really impressed with it. Coming in at number 4, I have the NYX Plump Right Back Plumping Serum and Primer. I really enjoy this. This is a really nice, very thin yet hydrating primer. It really does have a serum-like consistency in that it's really thin and liquidy, but I find this to be really hydrating, yet I feel like I can go in with my foundation very quickly after applying this. It's not something that I feel like I have to let set down or sink into my skin, which I really enjoy. I think I'll reach for this a ton in the summertime. Occasionally in the wintertime, I needed something, like I needed like a very thick moisturizing moisturizer, and then I would go in with like a different sort of primer, so I wasn't necessarily needing this again right after that. But for the summer when I'm not needing quite as much hydration, I think this will be really good. I also think this is something that I could see myself, like if I'm running to the pool and I don't want to do like a full face of makeup, but I want to add just a little bit of like hydration to the skin and a little bit of like healthy radiance, not even like a sheen sort of radiance, but just like a healthy like wetness to the skin. That is what I feel like I get from this one from NYX. Now NYX is a bit more expensive for the drugstore. I think this was like $16 or $17, but I really like this and I could see myself repurchasing this again. It also comes in yellow packaging, and truly anything in bright yellow packaging, I swear I'll buy no matter what it is. Maybe they should start, like I should start seeking out vegetables packaged in bright yellow packaging, because I could eat a few more vegetables in my life. Coming in at number 3, I have this one from Hard Candy. This is the Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. Now this is an amazing primer if you are looking for a grip, yet something that is also hydrating. So for all my dry skin galleys out there who also need a gripping primer, I would direct you towards this primer. I think it's $6.99 at Walmart, and I am so happy to have this in my life. This really does an amazing job of gripping my primer. It doesn't feel super sticky like glue when I'm rubbing this into my skin. In fact, it does feel really nice and nourishing like a moisturizer, so it is very hydrating, but it does an amazing job at gripping my makeup. I love to wear this or pair this with my foundation on work days, and I truly feel like it makes a difference. Sometimes I find myself like I have a bad habit of like resting my chin on my hand, and I find that my makeup wears off less quickly when I wear this foundation, especially days that I'm doing this a lot. So I really enjoy this one, especially like you truly can't beat the price tag on that. So definitely highly recommend that. 1 and 2. These have been my 1 and 2s for so long. It was so hard for me to decide which one was going to be number 1 and which one was going to be number 2, but ultimately I landed on my First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer as my number 2. This is the primer that like got me into primers. I've gone through multiple bottles, tubes, whatever, squeezies of these, and I just absolutely love this. It smells like me falling in love with primer. Like it has a very nostalgic scent to me. It has a coconut scent to it, so it kind of just reminds me of summer, and I just love it. It's very hydrating. It again offers this beautiful healthy sheen, like this veil to the skin that is just like a healthy glow without being too much. So on days that I'm not wearing foundation, this is a primer that I'll reach for to give me that healthy glow that I just absolutely adore. I've raved about this for so many years. You guys know I love it, so I'm not going to go on and on about it, but this would be my number 2. Always a top recommendation. And then coming in at number 1, this has a sticker I think my daughter put on this, but it's the Milani Chillout Primer. I've been in love with this since I purchased this, and the reason I'm ranking this at number 1 is because this offers like a smoothing, like almost like a soft focus smoothing aspect while still feeling very hydrating. It has a cooling aspect to it, and it does truly feel soothing to the skin. It's also a drugstore product, so it is more affordable. Like you truly can't beat the cost of this. I think it's like $9 or $10, and I just love it. It has wild oat extract and ceramides. It's silicone free, but it truly does look like it fills the pores and like offers this like soft focus smooth effect, kind of like filtered effect to the face, and I just absolutely love this one. I've also raved about this quite a bit. This is my number 1 or number 2 the last couple of years as well, so I'll just leave it at that. But after that, those are my 14 primers and how I would rank them from favorite to least favorite. Would love to know if you've tried any of these primers, which ones you love, which ones maybe you don't love so much. Leave me your top primer recommendation or your least favorite primer that you've ever tried in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Other than that, that is going to wrap it up for this primer ranking video, kicking off my 2023 Ranking My Makeup Collection series, which I'm so excited about. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch, for supporting me, for supporting my channel. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.